Coming up tonight on YCN News, New Hampshire lawmakers are deciding whether weapons should be allowed in the State House. We'll learn why protesters were along Washington Street in Claremont last night. And we'll also learn about the Sun Bowl at Mount Sunapee. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening, and welcome to this Friday edition of YCN News. I'm Erin McClory. Will New Hampshire state reps again be allowed to carry concealed weapons in the House chamber? If the House Rules Committee has its way, the answer could be yes. A vote yesterday in Concord proved favorable for lawmakers who want to return to the policy, New Hampshire Public Radio reports. From 2011 to 2013, state reps were allowed to carry concealed firearms in the House chamber. The vote by members of the Rules Committee fell along party lines. Every Republican member on that panel voted in favor of hidden gun carrying, including newly elected House Speaker Sean Jasper. Every Democrat voted against approving this policy. That will be determined in January by a vote of the full House's 400 elected members. Sponsoring the request to return to the 2011 policy is Goffstown Republican John Burt. Another proposal by Burt to allow weapons to be carried in full view in the House chamber was voted down by the entire Rules Committee, according to NHPR. Meanwhile, it remains to be seen if New Hampshire lawmakers revisit the predatory lending issue.
Until 2012, New Hampshire was protected from ultra-high interest rates on consumer loans by a 36% annual percentage rate cap. In early 2012, the New Hampshire legislature passed legislation legalizing car title loans with interest rates of up to 300% interest.
Demonstrators gathered at the Title Cash in Claremont yesterday evening for a faith vigil against usury, predatory lending, and 300% interest rates. Demonstrator Rod Went said the interest rates at places like Title Cash are outrageous.
People need cash quickly. They come in, they offer their car title as collateral, and they're charged 25% every month for the loan. And it's simply outrageous. People of faith call it usury, and it's got to stop.
Those in Claremont were not the only ones demonstrating yesterday. New Hampshire residents gathered at 3 other Title Cash locations in Concord, Manchester, and West Lebanon. Additionally, there was a demonstration at Lone Max in Nashua. The demonstrators are making their opinions known at a time when decisions in the government will be made.
Right now, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau in Washington will be issuing rules related to this kind of lending sometime in the first 6 months of 2015. And we want to make sure that Director Richard Corray of the CFPB knows that people out here want a strong rule to rein in the abuses that this kind of lending involves.
While this issue exists in many states, Wentz says the lack of public transportation in New Hampshire could add to the problem for numerous people.
And so what ends up happening to too many people is they lose their car. And in this state, with not much public transportation, if you lose your car, you're probably going to lose your job. So you get caught in this vicious downward debt trap spiral.
Wentz said they've appealed to the legislature to get lending with such high interest rates outlawed, but have not been successful. Title Cash in Claremont declined to comment on the demonstration. In Upper Valley news, the Lebanon School District has a new superintendent. SAU's temporary superintendent, Joanne Roberts, is now its permanent superintendent. The choice of Roberts to lead the 5-school district came Wednesday night, reports the Valley News. School Board Chairman Jeff Peavy says Roberts brings the right mix of experience to lead students, staff, and the community. Roberts has served as temporary superintendent since the summer. She brings classroom teaching experience. A Hanover resident, Roberts earlier had several key academic leadership roles in neighboring SAU 70, the Hanover and Norwich School District. Also on Wednesday night, the Lebanon School Board approved a $38.8 million budget to put before voters in March. Included in that spending plan is $130,000 for Roberts' new and greater role. There could be a bright spot in Vernon, Vermont, with word that the home base of Vermont Yankee worked out a tax break deal for this southeastern Vermont town. According to the Brattleboro Reformer, officials with Vermont Yankee have reached a one-year deal with the Select Board. The The deal, which would set a property value for the nuclear plant, remains under board study. It has not been formally accepted, but if it is, the assessment on the plant could prove beneficial to the town's tax coffers, at least for 1 year. A higher assessment could ease the effect of the plant's shutting down for good. Property taxes paid by Vermont Yankee to the town are significant, almost half of what it costs to run the town. A higher assessment could allow the town to bank some money as the plant goes offline. VY, as it's called, is now valued at $280 million. When YCN News returns, we'll bring you more news.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Erin McClory. It's called the Food Fight Fund, and if you're in a giving mood this holiday season, the state of Vermont would appreciate your donation. To date, about $170,000 is in the fund that will pay for legal costs against major food manufacturers. Earlier this year, the state legislature passed Act 120 requiring all food producers to label products that include genetically modified organisms. Act 120 goes into effect July 1, 2016. Lawmakers and state officials expected food manufacturers would protest the act and their right. 4 food-related groups are taking the state to court, saying Act 120 violated their First Amendment rights, notes online website Vermont Digger. The grocery manufacturers, Snack Food, International Dairy Foods Associations, and the Association of Manufacturers say having to update food item labels goes against their free speech rights. That's because producers would have to abide by an opinion that they might not agree with regarding the use of GMOs. It could cost the state up to $8 million to fight the group's lawsuit. Donations to the public fund can be made at foodfightfundvt.org. Windsor County in Vermont is one of 12 counties eligible for federal aid after the pounding December 9th snowstorm. Counties can be eligible for up to 75% of the cost to repair storm-related damage. Federal officials estimate those costs will exceed $4 million. In all, 12 counties in the state may be eligible for infrastructure repair and restoration costs. Heads up for smokers or tobacco chewers in New Hampshire. The state's Department of Health and Human Services will help smokers and cheek stuffers who want to quit using tobacco products. The DHHS is offering free nicotine replacement therapy in the form of patches. Currently, a bit over 16% of New Hampshire residents smoke, yet former smokers here outnumber that group, coming in at 31% of all Green Staters. To start the new year off in a better way, go online to trytostopnh.org or call 1-800-QUIT-NOW or 1-800-784-8669 to learn more. Some rules apply to receive free patches. Residents must be 18 or older, be ready to quit smoking or chewing tobacco within 30 days, take part in telephone counseling, and be screened for safe use of the patch. When YCN News returns, we'll join Kearsarge Chronicles' Lynn Solomon.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Erin McClory. Let's find out the weather and look at sports.
Thanks, Erin. Tonight will be mostly cloudy with a low around 16. Saturday will be partly sunny with a high near 31. Saturday night will be mostly cloudy with a low around 21. Sunday will be partly cloudy with a chance of snow flurries in the morning. Highs will be in the 30s. Sunday night will be mostly cloudy with a low around 22. Let's take a look at an interview at Mount Sunapee about the Sun Bowl, followed by the Snow Country Report.
Welcome to Mount Sunapee. We're riding on the new Sun Bowl Express. It's the most requested item from our guests, so we're happy to finally bring it to them. For the holiday week, we have some of our most popular trails open. Our Wingding Trail is open, Skyway Ledges, Blast Off. We're working on making snow on Bonanza and Upper Lower Cataract, so we're hoping to bring those online pretty soon. Also, we're working on our border cross on East Side, so we'll get that up for people to have some racing and have some family fun. And so Christmas Day is actually considered a non-holiday in terms of pricing. So if you want, you buy your ticket online at mountsunapee.com. 4 days in advance, you get 50% off your lift ticket. So it's a great deal for families to get out here, have some fun on the slopes, and enjoy the outdoors.
Snow Country Snapshot is brought to you by Bubba's Bar and Grill in Newbury, New Hampshire.
Hey everybody, the Snow Country Snapshot is here, and it's enjoying a little bit of stow here in northern Vermont. it is a staple. I mean, this place is gorgeous. Definitely one of my favorite places to ride on the East Coast. I'll tell you why. The snow is always awesome. Why? Because they just invested $10 million into their snowmaking system over the course of the last 3 years. So if you do the math, that just means great conditions. Are you listening to me?
3 days of snow last week, and many of us rushed to the slopes to enjoy it. Mount Sunapee is opening their brand new Sun Bowl Express high-speed quad on Friday. Lots of high-speed groomed cruisers are waiting for you. Saturday is Gingerbread House Day at Ragged Mountain, which means their base lodge becomes a village of beautiful gingerbread houses, so practice self-control. They're for show, not for eating. I decided to check out Stowe's brand new Meadows quad at Spruce Peak.
It's beautiful, very comfy, and fast. Perfect for beginners, so by the end of the day, you're going to be probably an expert. Maybe. Oh, by the way, check out that view.
This Saturday, Okemo hosts the many of vertical challenges taking place all over the Northeast. It's a fun race and it's free, so join in. And check this out. You can get a free snowboard lesson at Bromley Mountain in their state-of-the-art terrain-based learning area. That's in honor of World Snowboard Day on Sunday. And Mount Snow's Nitro Terrain Park opens up this weekend.
Great time here at Stowe. Snowcountry.com. Visit it. Weather and conditions. I'm Hallie O'Brien. See you next week.
And now let's take a look at our YCN community calendar. Tomorrow in Lebanon, check out the Farmers Market at the Upper Valley Senior Center from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Tomorrow is also Family Lego Day at the Richards Free Library in Newport. Stop by the library between 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. for hands-on Lego activities. Remember, you can submit local events from your community by sending them to news@ycnnow.com. Turning to YCN Sports, we have the results from last night's girls' basketball game between Newport High School and Monadnock High School. Unfortunately, we have to report that the Newport girls fell to Monadnock. The final score of the game was 43-35. There are some weekend games to check out, including some ice hockey games. Tomorrow, Kearsarge will travel to Souhegan for a boys' hockey game. The Lebanon girls team will travel to Oyster River High School also tomorrow.
Thanks, Matt. When we return, we'll join Lisa Connell and John O'Connor for this week's News and Review.
The YCN News continues in a moment.